So Willis College's cybersecurity training program has been in place for several years and helps graduates by providing them with job-ready skills, something we're really, really proud of. We have 3 full-time courses: Help Desk and Network Technician, Cybersecurity Operator, and Cybersecurity Analyst. All instruction material in this program is based upon industrial standard certification requirements from well-known experts in the field, such as CompTIA, Cisco, Microsoft, Linux Professional Institute, and industry experts like Sophos, Fortinet, Checkpoint, and SonicWall. We consistently have a 90% job placement rate for our cybersecurity careers, something that we're really, really proud of. So the Accelerated program. The Accelerated program is a program for IT professionals who have experience in the field already. So you're working in the field, maybe you don't have your cybersecurity yet, but that's where you're aiming for. The bootcamp or accelerated program may be the answer for you. It is a 12-week full-time program, and we'll be more than happy to take questions on that program. So let's talk about accelerated and micro-credentials. So Willis College has taken the lead in addressing the critical cybersecurity skills shortage by establishing the Willis Cybersecurity Academy. The Academy is equipped with our partners' state-of-the-art network devices and uses an industry-standard curriculum. All of this combines to offer offensive and defensive cybersecurity training environment. The 12-week boot camp. So this is a 12-week full-time program. It has security frameworks and risk management, Linux system, cloud security, network security, and unified threat management, red teaming, blue teaming, and then business communications, because as I'm sure you know, working in this field, being able to write a comprehensive business report on the cyber issues is a very important piece of the program. This is a full-time program, 8 hours a day for 12 weeks, 5 days a week, with lots and lots of hands-on experience. The admission requirement for the accelerated program must already have a degree or diploma in technology or 3 years experience in the field. And there is an assessment that we would ask you to do to ensure that you have the base skills to be able to do the accelerated program. Micro-credentials. This is one of the most exciting pieces of our Cyber Academy, the Cyber Micro-credentials. I'm going to ask our lovely, talented business development consultant, Mike, to take over and chat a little bit about the Cyber Micro-credentials programs with you. Over to Mike. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. It's a real honor to be with all of you this afternoon. Cyber micro-credentials, managing cyber security risks amid pandemic-driven digitization shift is top of mind for most Ontario organizations. Willis College has a solution to this problem, an exciting new set of micro-credential programs to enhance the cybersecurity skills of IT professionals that have been working in the field for over 3 years. So upgrade your cybersecurity skills 1 week at a time with our micro-credential programs. So our cybersecurity micro-credential training will ensure organizations are being proactive against cybersecurity threats instead of being in an expensive reactionary position after a breach, enhance the skills of IT employees already working within an organization, or give new skills to IT professionals looking for work or those who are underemployed, offer professional skills development to IT employees, and allow for online instructor-led interactive training in short timeframes. So these will take 1 week to complete, and they're 40 hours in duration. So each of the following micro-credentials can be taken independently of each other. So the first one is Red Teaming 1, which focuses on ethical hacking and countermeasures, focusing on penetration testing fundamentals. Red Teaming 2 focuses on ethical hacking and countermeasures, focusing on ethical hacking strategies. Blue Teaming 1, cybersecurity operations and threat analysis, focusing on cyber operations. Blue Teaming 2, cybersecurity operations and threat analysis, focusing on threat intelligence analysis. And the final micro-credential, blue teaming 3, cybersecurity incident response and threat hunting, focusing on threat hunting and incident response analysis.
Mike, I'm going to stop you, and I'm just going to ask our fabulous IT experts, because let's be honest, you and I are not in the field of IT experts. So we're going to ask Rafi and Anthony to help us just explain a little bit about these fabulous micro-credentials. So Anthony, I'm going to ask you first if you could talk about the red teaming options. Yes, Rafi, that does mean I'm going to ask you about blue. So Anthony, if you could please just help us understand a little bit about the need for the red teaming, ethical hacking, and countermeasures.
Thank you very much, Bonnie. The red team, like many of you might know, the red team, essentially, they are the attackers. They are those that attempt to gain access into a network or a system. So the red team, they do the vulnerability assessment. They also do the penetration testing. And the penetration testing involves scanning for open ports, performing attacks into a network or a system, or participating in activities that involves discovering or exploiting the vulnerability in a system. So essentially, that's what the red team will do. The red team is more of the offensive. So they try to exploit those loopholes in an organization's systems or networks. So essentially, that's what the red team does.
So if I understand correctly, the red team is looking to see if there's a way for someone to get in.
Exactly.
And then
So
reporting on it. Excellent.
Exactly.
And then Rafi, please explain to me the value of the 3 fabulous blue teaming micro-credential options.
Yeah, it's a great question, Bonnie, and it's actually a fantastic slide. Thanks for putting that up there. So, as Anthony said, the red team is really your offensive posture, and blue team is your defensive posture. Okay, so most large organizations today, the places where the graduates will be working at eventually, have split their security operations into 2 very distinct teams. So the red team, like Anthony said, the offensive, and the blue team. This is the defensive operations of cyber. So we're trying to do a couple of things, right? Understand, are we compromised today? If so, where and how bad is it? Where does all the risk lie, and how do we report that to the senior executives? And B, how do we do countermeasures in terms of potentially diverting attacks, preventing attacks, using things like honeypots to detect attacks? So the entire realm of defense, and it actually is growing to involve a little bit of risk management as well. So tell the executives, where do you think we're going to get hacked and why? And that's where the threat intelligence piece comes in. Are people's Windows servers being hacked? Or is Linux being attacked all over the world? Are things like that. So the blue team is really the defensive operations within cyber. If that answers the question there.
Fabulous. Thank you, Rafi.
Yeah.
So if I was taking any of these micro-credentials, the question just came in from a guest asking if I had to take them in order. So do I have to take red team 1 before I take red team 2? Is that like a standard expectation? Can I just go straight to 2 if I have some experience? What would be your recommendation there, Anthony?
I would say, regardless, since the students, like for the accelerated and the micro-credential, they should have like basic IT knowledge. They should preferably have done like things, they have hands-on experience on systems and networks, so they can take it in no order. So they can start with the defensive one, that's the blue teaming. They can go to the red, and it doesn't really matter.
Okay. And then Rafi, maybe you can help me with this question.
Sure.
It's just come in on the chat box, and it is asking about whether or not there is any specialized software or hardware that I would learn to use while I was doing red team and blue team.
Oh, that's a fantastic question. So there's a lot of tools. Some of them are packaged by mainstream manufacturers. Some are open source tools, but you will definitely learn how to use tools that will identify vulnerabilities in software, identify misconfigured firewalls, for example, identify unpatched systems. I mean, there's a whole plethora of tools. And that's why I think everyone, to your previous question, we should take red team 1 and 2, because you're counting on Willis to keep the content up to date. And the paradigm is changing so fast. But there's a whole plethora of tools, and there's new tools coming out every day. So it's just fantastic all around. Right.
Thank you, Rafi. And another question just came in there, coming in fast and furious, which is awesome. Is for you, Rafi, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I work for Geek Squad at Best Buy. Can I take these 5 micro credentials and secure a job in cybersecurity? Would this be sufficient, or do I need more education?
I think absolutely. It's a great question. So I think absolutely you can. I think that there's so much demand for cyber. There's a lot of demand, as you know, in the ecosystem, the education ecosystem, for people that have formal training. And last time I looked, there was about 700 or 800 open cybersecurity operations jobs in Canada. So I have no doubt that if you go red team 1, 2, blue team 1, 2, 3 at Willis, you're going to get one of those 800 jobs at a very large scale, very proactive employer, and you'll be well on your way to a very well done cyber career, is my humble opinion. So,
thank you, Rafi. I'm going to just move to the next slide. We'll wait to see if any more questions come in. Thank you. And how to access the micro credentials. So we were hoping to have our admission advisor here to help us with this question. Unfortunately, she is sick, so I'm going to take the question. So if you are interested in accessing our micro credentials, we would ask you to go onto the website and just put a request in for more information. And Wafa, who is our micro-credential specialist, will reach out with all of the information for you. They do start at the end of April of 2022, and we're really excited to see everyone take these programs and run into the fabulous cybersecurity world. I do have a couple more questions. I'm going to stop share so that we can address the questions that have come in. So there is a question, and actually, I think this is probably a really great question for Anthony. Anthony, what kind of certifications can I take after taking any of these micro-credentials?
Very good question. And a lot of my students ask me this question as well. So for the cybersecurity, I always advise you start with the CompTIA certifications. So if you don't have the A+, Network Plus, it's good to get that off. Then you can move to Security Plus. Then from Security Plus, CompTIA has this different route you can take. You can go through the Penetration Plus or go through the Cyber Security Analyst program. Apart from the CompTIA one as well, you have these bodies called the Certified Information System Security Professional. So they have these fantastic 8 domain cybersecurity areas they deal with. And apart from that as well, you have so many like the CEH, that's the ethical, certified ethical hackers, and you have SANS and so many others. Yeah, so many of them. And yeah, and I just got one training as well. The Checkpoint is also a very good one. Thank you, Anthony.
Rafi, do you have any recommendations from an employer perspective on certifications that students or even IT professionals taking the blue team, red team should be looking for?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I think it depends. It depends really. I think they should take the certification, number one. I think they should understand what area of defense they're, because within red team, blue team, there's 55 areas in each, right? You could be Linux specialist, you could be Windows, you could be hacking, you could be a firewall specialist, you could focus on one specific technology. At that point, I would look at, like Anthony said, SANS, CompTIA, CEH, really depending on what trajectory you want to take your career. So I think step one is find out what you love to do within cyber. And step two is go to one of those organizations or Willis and further your education.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And a question has come in about using the micro-credentials, and are there any labs in the micro-credential program? I can actually answer that one, which is pretty exciting. The answer is yes. The way the program has been designed for 40 hours in 1 week, there'll be a couple of hours of lecture and then lots and lots of hands-on work where we're really doing blue teaming and red teaming. So in your 8-hour day, probably 3.5 hours of lecture, not all at once, and in between lots of hands-on experience to make sure that you actually know how to use the skills that we're giving you. Is that a fair assessment, Anthony?
Yes, it is. So
Mm.
I just want to add to it that there are so many tools because Willis College, we partner with vendors in the industry. So we have like permission to use some of their tools for training as well.
Awesome. And then looks like another question here. I have to figure it out. I beg your pardon. So how do the Willis College micro-credentials compare to EC Council and SAN? Is it SAN, S-A-N?
Sands, yeah, Sands, yeah.
Can Anthony, did you maybe want to take that question for me?
Yes, because the SANs as well, I was talking about domains earlier. So the SANs essentially what they cover is the, I will call it the ethical hacking and the penetration testing part of cybersecurity. And the EC Council looks at the cybersecurity operations essentially. And the good thing about the course we are offering in Willis College is we bring both together. So we'll be teaching both the ethical hacking and the penetration testing part, and as well as the cybersecurity operations.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We just have a few minutes left. It is a lunch and learn, so we do want our guests to be able to have lunch. So I don't want to take up too much time. I just wondered if maybe you could have some closing comments, Rafi, for us on the type of programs that we're offering here at Willis and the quality of our micro-credentials and our bootcamp programs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, we Fortinet, we love the Willis College program because we think that the students are coming out prepared for what is becoming a really challenging career in cyber. I mean, if you look at what's happening in the world, if you look at the current events, if you look at, what's happening, you need to be able not only to understand the technology, be able to operate the technology, but as you mentioned in your earlier slide, you need to be able to articulate what's happening to the business executives. And that is exactly, I think, the value of what Willis provides, right? Is being able to encompass those realms of understanding the technology, using and applying the technology and communicating the risk to the business. And that's why we're huge fans of Willis. And that's why I think that you're seeing the Willis graduates be so successful in Canadian cyber, because they have this foundational knowledge, to be honest. So
thank you, Rafi. Anthony, do you have any remarks about, if I'm working in the field, I've been working for a while, what's the benefit to me to come and take a micro-credential with Willis? What will I gain?
This is a very good question because I was just talking to one of my former worker. So I've been in the IT industry for almost 15 years now, working in different aspects of IT, worked with the telecom company, worked with a programming company. So I can tell like a lot of people working because they don't have the time to go for a full degree or sit down in classroom. The good thing about Willis College, and as an instructor myself, I can tell the program is designed to fit into people working so they can flexibly go through the class, then take the exams and still be very successful both in the course and even in their job.
Thank you, Anthony. And then Mike, do you have any last comments for us about how we move forward? Oh, and a question just came in. I own a cybersecurity company in Alberta, and I'm looking at the courses for employees. Would the micro courses take the employees out of work for the week? Yes, Matt, it absolutely would. It would be 40 hours of them working. So Alberta hours would be 8 to 4 for the course for the week. Maybe there's a way for you to be able to work hours around that a little bit for the employee, but at the end of that 40 hours, they would be, they would have their micro credentials. So definitely something to work, to look at. But yes, they are required to be online for the 8 hours. It is delivered in an online setting. So they could do it from work. Thank you so much, Matt. That's a really great question. Sorry, Mike, I interrupted you.
Not at all, Bonnie. I just wanted to thank everybody for participating today. Wafa and I are here to support you with next steps. So I'm a phone call or email away, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can.
Excellent. Mike, what I might do, please, is ask you to type into the chat box your email address. And that way, if Matt or any of our other guests need any further information, they'll be able to access it nice and quickly for us. Awesome. If there are no further questions, given that we are on a lunch and learn, and we've likely taken Rafi away from his lunch break as well, I want to thank all of our panelists for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to host this webinar. I'm super excited about not only the bootcamp, but all of our micro-credential programs. And I thank you for your help and guidance as we move into this fabulous new journey at the Cyber Academy. Thank you so much.